Hey YouTube, welcome back. This is Adrenaline Rush, and I'm here to just kind of talk a little bit about one of HK's newest offerings, the Striker Fired Polymer VP9. It's a 9mm pistol, and I have it here besides my USP full-size 9mm, which is one of my first handguns, one of the first videos I posted up here on YouTube, for a couple of reasons. Number one, just to kind of show how this part of the gun is much different in their guns, and how that feels kind of like a beaver tail compared to its original kind of more basic setup, and also to show how it fits the Blackhawk Serpa 2 holster. This VP9 fits into this Blackhawk's holster, and it's mostly because of the similarities in the trigger guard and the basic layout of the pistol there. So anyways, really quick, we'll go over the features. There's a ton of YouTube videos out there, so I'm not going to cover it. This is a video that doesn't cover any shooting. I'm just going to cover basically how I have the grip set up. One of the things that is very unique and what people talk about is the HK VP9 is the ergonomics of it. It has great ergonomics. One of the first things I kind of mentioned earlier is how this is set in more. Some people might think it looks weird. It looks very much like the Walther PPQ series types of gun, and I like it a lot. If you look at how I have my really tricked out Glock, I had a beaver tail on it just so I can get a similar hold to it. But before we go on, I just realized some of you safety sallies might be freaking out. So we've got an empty chamber and empty magazine for this gun, and same with this. Empty chamber, empty magazine. So hopefully you guys are happy out there. Your safety sallies are freaking out. Anyways, continue on this particular pistol. It's a Striker Fire offering. Since we racked the slide, you can see that that red there means it's as soon as I pull the trigger, the firing pin will hit the primer of the bullet if it's there. Since there's no round in the chamber, what we call dry fire, I go ahead and pull it, and you can hear the firing pin shoot forward, and you'll see it. That red dot goes away. Some people don't like it. They talk about not liking that particular feature of it. I don't really care. I actually think it's a good feature. When it's in my drop leg holster, I can just look down and see that, yeah, it's ready to go. If I have a round in the chamber, if I pull the trigger, that bullet's gonna shoot right out the barrel, which is kind of what I'm expecting. Another couple of things on this particular gun is this isn't the LEM feature gun, so it's got these sights that basically will glow if you expose it to some light. So here's a flashlight that I have. If I blast it, you can kind of see, even though that it's daylight, you can see it's kind of bright there. It's more obvious at night, obviously, when it's darker. So if I haven't already mentioned it, the ergonomics are really good with this gun. It's got customizable back straps and side panels. For you to get the grips off, there's a pin right here. In the H&K manual, they talk about using a 2.8mm punch. I didn't have one. I tried the Glock tool. The Glock tool didn't work, so I have these Stanley tools that I have, some little screwdrivers. The number 01 does work, which is kind of neat. If you look at it though, it is between a 3.0 and a 2.4mm. This is probably a 2.8mm or somewhere really close. So that really worked for me. I take the gun, secure it on the edge of a table so that if I need to do some pounding, if you look at the handle right there, it's supported. And that's really important because when you punch it, I just take one of these, the rubber mallet here, and just tap it a little bit. I'm not going to do it now because I already took it off and it's perfect to how I want it, but it's going to be a little firm in there. It's not going to come out so easy, so you're going to have to tap a little bit, which I'm okay with. If my pins don't fall out real easy, that means it's secured or solid when it's finally in there. Anyways, once you take that pin out, the back strap does come out, and then after that the side panels can slide back. They slide backwards. If you look at the side panels, they have these kind of channels to fit in with some of these here, so they're really solid once they're on. And once the back strap on, it kind of holds the side panels in place. So once this configuration is all put in, it's actually really solid. It doesn't feel flimsy, it doesn't make any noise, doesn't rattle or anything like that. So the way I have it is I have a large back strap in it, and the large, side panel. This is stock with what came in the gun, which I believe is the medium. And my justification for this is number one, it just feels good in my hand. That configuration is really nice. But if you look at how I hold his handguns, right? This I like keeping flat, keep as much surface area on the gun. So I kind of put it down there and thumbs forward type grip. And then this is, since it's kind of gripping a little bit more and responsible for pulling the trigger when I need to, if I would have pulled my hand away from the gun and we turn and look at my hand, you notice there's that that little dip there. When I went with the larger side panel for my strong hand, what it does is it fits really nicely, and that's really great ergonomics for me. Stock right out of the box with the medium side panels and the medium back strap felt really good, but with the large side panel, the large on the right side, and the large back strap with the medium on this side, feels even better. Feels really nice. I can't wait for some range time. That'll be really great. And obviously, if I'm shooting with my weak side hand, it's not gonna feel exactly the same way, but this is pretty rare for me that I'm shooting this way, and it still works. I can still hold it and I can still shoot it, and it still feels nice. I'd rather it feel really comfortable on the way I shoot mostly than really comfortable in the way I shoot rarely. But that it doesn't stop me from still shooting with it this way. So it's just added benefit of feeling really nice the way I normally shoot. Take down the pistol is really basic. It's a lot easier than all my other HKs, and actually I think it's really weird the way you do with Glock where you have to pull the trigger. This one you don't have to. Lock the slide back, take out the magazine, push that forward, and then ride it off. So it's ready to do some basic cleaning. This part of the gun is really nice. It's got, it's H&K engineering. It's pretty solid. I really like that a lot. But we'll just get that back on. I won't go more than that. Get all the way through. Lock that back. Push that back up. Normal. Magazine back in. What else did I miss? It's got the rails. You've seen that in a lot of YouTube videos I already talked about. It's got the front serrations and back serrations. The polymer sides, which makes it easy to grab. And pretty much it. The magazine release are the panels right on the side of the trigger here. I like that a lot. I'm used to it. I do have Glocks, so I do have to press it that way with it being on the side there. But I do like the H&K format. So my method of releasing magazines is I use my middle finger. A lot of people talk about using the index finger, but I prefer my middle finger because of this. If you look at my hand, I actually have to contort my hand a little bit more to get it down here to release the magazine. And it's natural for me whenever I'm done shooting to always pull my finger right up on the slide here, away from the trigger. Always keep your finger away from the trigger until you're ready to shoot. One of the basic firearm rules. But because of that natural reaction for me to keep it up here and not anywhere near the trigger guard, I don't like pulling my finger down here. And yeah, once your magazine's empty and you're ready to release the magazine, it doesn't matter if you accidentally pull, you slide in here, and instead of pressing this, you end up pressing the trigger. And with with the safety mechanism here, that's less of a risk. The thing is, it's still not natural to me. I still like using my middle finger, and because I always rest my finger and slide. So just I'm just gonna keep that. That's the way I do it. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Finger up on the slide. Release the magazine. I just do that. middle finger. And it's great, and I don't have to contort my hand too much. If you look at my hand, it's kind of relaxed when I do this. There's no stressing of my hand whatsoever. And what's really nice about H&K, I don't have to flip it, especially for larger handguns to press the mag release. I can just keep my eye on the target and press. So I do like, a lot of people don't like that about H&K. I love that about H&K. I wish all handguns were like that. Again, that's my personal preference and a bit biased, and I've really trained that way. So needless to say, this is going to be my favorite shooting handgun. If I had my Glock 20 10mm with this setup, or if H&K came out with a 10mm, my Glock 20 would go out the door. I would be an H&K 10mm guy. I love my 10mm only because 10mm round is just awesomeness, and that's the reason why I like that gun. Alright, before we end the video, I'm going to demonstrate that the Blackhawk Serpa 2 holster works really great for the VP9. If you look at the ultimate holster list, they always say that, or Blackhawk actually came out and said their holsters won't fit the VP9. The P30 or the, I guess the USB won't fit the VP9. Well, let's try this out. Here's my light attachment. I'm just going to put it back on there. So let's try that out. Here's a USB 9mm. That fits great. VP9. According to Blackhawk, it is not going to fit. Let us see. Whoa! How the heck? It fit. You know, I think it's a conspiracy theory. I think they want you to buy more of the VP9 holsters. If you got an HK USB 9, they're going to want you to spend more for that holster. Tell you what, you don't need to. There's no issue. It goes in a little snug, but coming out, it's because it's Kydex. It locks in because of the similarities in this part of the gun. It locks in really solid. But if you want to draw, nice and easy draw. So if you do have a P30, I don't have a P30. If you have a P30 holster, I heard that the P30 holster is very similar, where it's kind of snug going in. But if you have a USB 9 holster, that definitely does really well. It's a full-size USB 9. I don't know what a compact, how much different that is, but I tell you, USB full-size 9mm VP9, that does work well. All right, YouTube. Oh, wait a minute. We're not going to end the video just like that. No way. We're going to play with the GoPro rail mount on the rail of a VP9 and just get some perspective from that. That'll be really cool. That's a fun part of the video. Alright, YouTube, this is how we end the video with you mounted on my VP9. So, it's a great gun. I love the way it feels, holds. We'll get some range time video in a little bit, but yeah, it's pretty sweet. Going backwards here, and yeah, that's one of my favorite shows. Watching on Amazon Prime, Justified, and this episode called The Gunfighter. Pretty cool. All right, YouTube, thanks for watching.